Number 12. Timur Shakhmamatov. He hijacked an election with a laptop, then disappeared like vapor. No gun, no mask, just code that brought governments to their knees. Timur Shakhmamatov is a digital ghost and the FBI's worst nightmare. This Russian-born hacker didn't rob banks or bomb cities. He went for something bigger: democracy. US intelligence says he breached election servers, rewrote voter rolls, and sold classified data to foreign bidders, all while sipping coffee behind a proxy in Prague. He didn't break in once. He stayed for months, slipping through firewalls, jumping servers, and leaving zero trace. Only a whisper on the dark web gave him away. They say he helped launch ransomware attacks on hospitals, military vendors, even the power grid. He made millions in crypto, vanished, and now trains new cyber mercenaries from the shadows. And the creepiest part? A private chat room post read, "I didn't rig the game, I rewrote the rules." But Timur didn't need to face anyone. The next guy? He looks you dead in the eye while stealing the world's greatest treasures. Number 11. Leon Arizmendi. A missing Picasso, a forged receipt, and a trail that led straight into the heart of the black market elite. Leon Arizmendi isn't just a thief, he's an art world phantom. Interpol says he's behind one of the most elaborate heists in history, not one, but hundreds of stolen works. Van Goghs, Degas, Vatican relics, all vanished, sold to private billionaires who pay in diamonds and digital wallets. His favorite trick? Replacing the original with a perfect fake, so flawless it fools museums for years. One buyer tried to auction a stolen Monet in Zurich. Experts traced the brushwork, found it was authentic, and the paper trail? It led to Caracas, to Leon. His aliases span 5 countries. His face? Almost no photos exist. They say he once delivered a forged Rembrandt in person just to prove he could. He doesn't leave blood, he leaves empty frames and broken vaults. But next, we head to Mexico, where a ghost runs guns, drugs, and death across the desert, and no one's brave enough to say his name out loud. Number 10. Fausto Isidro Mezaflores. He once survived a full-blown military ambush, then disappeared into the desert like smoke. They call him El Chapo's shadow, but he's far more dangerous in silence. Fausto Mezaflores isn't just a cartel boss, he's a ghost commander. He runs the Mezaflores drug syndicate, a ruthless offshoot tangled in the Sinaloa cartel wars. He's been linked to the trafficking of cocaine, meth, heroin, and even military-grade weapons flooding the US and Europe. But he doesn't just sell, he dominates. What makes Fausto terrifying is his unpredictability. US officials say he ordered the public execution of a mayor for refusing to cooperate. Witnesses say his crew left a warning in blood on the walls. Mexican intelligence once surrounded a safe house they believed held him, but when they burst in, they found only a lit cigar, a single cell phone, and no man. Locals claim he blends in with farmers, shifts locations daily, and even travels using disguised military convoys. But here's the twist. He's rumored to have made deals with both cartels and police. Not to surrender, but to survive. And next, we meet a man who walked up to his target and pulled the trigger without blinking. Number 9. Omar Alexander Cardenas. He walked into a barbershop on a sunny afternoon, smiling. Seconds later, a man lay dead. Omar was already gone. Omar Alexander Cardenas isn't a kingpin. He's a cold-blooded executioner, wanted for a gang-style murder outside a Los Angeles barbershop. In 2019, surveillance cameras caught everything. His calm approach, the gunshot, and his effortless getaway. But what looked like a personal hit turned out to be a spark in a much bigger war. Law enforcement believes Omar is part of a violent Southern California gang tied to drug trafficking, extortion, and multiple unsolved homicides. And since that day, he's vanished, leaving behind burned phones, empty houses, and terrified neighbors. The FBI is offering $250,000 for any clue. So far, nothing. Here's what's haunting. Detectives say he may have used his own family to disappear, slipping across the border under a fake identity just hours after the hit. But this isn't over. Reports suggest he's resurfaced in cartel-controlled zones of Tijuana, armed, loyal, and still very much active. Stick with me, because up next is a man who never fired a shot, but built a criminal empire using bank accounts, crypto wallets, and a dark web handshake. Number 8. Denis Gennadyevich Kulkov. He never robbed a bank, but he helped thousands do it without getting caught. Denis Kulkov is the quiet force behind a billion-dollar shadow economy. He's not flashy, doesn't carry a gun, but the FBI calls him one of the most dangerous cyber financiers alive. Kulkov ran Buy Best Cards, a dark web marketplace that trafficked in stolen credit card data, banking logins, and digital identities. With every transaction, he helped fund cartels, human traffickers, and global crime syndicates, all while collecting his cut in crypto. When the site was finally shut down, investigators discovered it had possessed over $5 million in stolen funds every month. But Dennis? Gone. Completely off grid. Experts believe he used military level encryption, lives under multiple passports, and may now be advising rogue states on how to bypass financial sanctions. One report suggests he laundered money through online casinos, NFT markets, and luxury watch dealers in Dubai. What's even more disturbing? He offered customer support. Chat logs show him helping criminals troubleshoot stolen accounts like a tech startup CEO. And if you think that's surreal, wait until you meet the man who killed his wife at work, then calmly walked out and vanished forever. Number 7. Bhadrash Kumar Chetanbhai Patel. It was a regular night shift at a donut shop, until it turned into a murder scene. Then, like smoke, he disappeared. Bhadrash Kumar Patel was working alongside his young wife at a Krispy Kreme in Maryland when something snapped. Surveillance footage shows them walking into the back. Only one came out. Moments later, she was found bludgeoned to death. The scene described as brutal, rage-fueled. And here's where it gets chilling. Patel didn't run. He calmly walked away, grabbed his jacket, and slipped out the back door like it's just another workday. Authorities believe he used cash, prepaid phones, and personal contacts to evade capture within hours. He may have fled to India, but he's also been spotted in New Jersey, Toronto, and even a temple in rural Illinois. The FBI has him on their top 10 most wanted list and offers a $100,000 reward, but no trail has ever led to him directly. What unsettles agents the most is how calculated it was. No digital trace, no credit card, just silence. And up next, we're heading deep into Haiti, where one man kidnapped missionaries and started a war with the US on purpose. Number 6. Sergei Sergeyevich Ivanov. He's the man who can turn off your hospital, steal your money, and vanish before sunrise. Sergei Ivanov isn't a hacker, he's a weapon. Ivanov is wanted for coordinating some of the most devastating cyber attacks ever seen on US soil. Authorities say he masterminded ransomware strikes that crippled hospitals, breached city power grids, and locked major corporations out of their own systems, demanding millions in Bitcoin. One hospital had to reroute patients mid-surgery because life support machines shut down. That's not theft, that's terrorism. But Sergey didn't act alone. He ran a network of elite cyber mercenaries, offering them custom malware, real-time support, and offshore laundering solutions. Think of him as a CEO for chaos. What makes him terrifying is the scale. His operations spanned at least 17 countries, and some experts believe he's directly responsible for funneling stolen funds to geopolitical enemies of the US. His face? Almost never seen. His voice? Always altered digitally. His location? Possibly shifting between Dubai, Moscow, and Singapore. And here's the worst part. He's still active. Coming up, the Olympian who traded medals for murder and built a drug empire with the deadliest substance on earth, fentanyl. Number 5. Ryan James Wedding. He once snowboarded for Team Canada. Now he snowballs bodies, buried under millions in drugs, blood, and betrayal. Ryan Wedding had the world cheering for him in the Winter Olympics, but after his career faded, he took a darker route. He became the alleged kingpin of a massive fentanyl trafficking operation, stretching from Vancouver to California and as far as Mexico. Authorities say he moved enough synthetic opioids to kill an entire city and left a trail of overdoses, debt collections, and whispers of murder. The shift was calculated. Wedding reportedly partnered with cartel enforcers, used encrypted apps for orders, and laundered the money through extreme sports companies he secretly owned. One FBI agent described him as part athlete, part mob boss. Here's where it spirals. He's now connected to at least 3 contract killings, including a journalist who got too close. He vanished just before a major bust in 2023 and has stayed ahead of every international dragnet since. He knows the slopes, the terrain, and clearly how to disappear. But next, we're entering a war zone, where a Haitian gang leader kidnapped Americans and dared the US to come get them. Number 4. Vitel Home Innocent. He kidnapped 16 Americans in broad daylight and dared the FBI to come get them. Vitel Home Innocent isn't hiding, he's running the streets. Leader of Haiti's brutal Craze Barrier gang, Innocent turned Port-au-Prince into a playground of violence. In 2021, he orchestrated the kidnapping of 16 US missionaries, including children, and demanded millions in ransom. Some escaped, some were released, but innocent? He never blinked. Authorities say he's responsible for hundreds of murders, ambushes on police stations, and trafficking operations that funnel weapons and people through the Caribbean. His network controls neighborhoods, ports, even parts of the government. Civilians whisper his name, officials won't speak it. A US diplomat once described him as a warlord in sneakers. There's a $2 million reward on his head, but capturing him means confronting an army. He walks the Capitol fully armed, flanked by men carrying AKs and radios tuned into police channels. He even calls into radio shows, taunting his enemies. But the scariest part? He claims he's just getting started. Now we enter Colombia's Shadowlands, where a narco-terrorist uses cocaine and explosives to fund a private war, and no one dares cross him. Number 3. Wilber Villegas Palomino. He runs cocaine by the ton, but his real product is fear. Wilber Villegas Palomino blends drug cartel brutality with guerrilla warfare. This high-ranking commander in Colombia's National Liberation Army isn't just a trafficker, he's a narco-terrorist. US officials accuse him of financing terrorism through massive cocaine operations, partnering with rebel groups to traffic across the Andes into Central America and straight into the US. His network has bombed police stations, kidnapped journalists, and even assassinated political candidates. But Wilber moves like smoke, protected by dense jungle, local loyalty, and armed rebels trained in warfare. He's so feared that even rival cartel bosses send emissaries instead of bullets. Intelligence reports claim he lives in mobile jungle camps, changing locations weekly and using children as lookouts. The US has placed a $5 million bounty on him, but so far, no one has dared take the risk. Here's a chilling detail. A former ELN defector said Wilber keeps a wall of Polaroids of men he's had executed as trophies. But now it's time for the real Phantom. The man who controls death with whispers, runs the world's deadliest gang, and is vanishing right now. Number 2. Yulan Adonai Archaga Carillas. He doesn't run MS-13. He commands it like a shadow king. Yulan Adonai Archaga Carillas is Honduras' most feared ghost, and the FBI's most wanted gang lord. He's accused of turning MS-13 into a well-oiled machine of murder, drugs, and extortion, exporting violence from Central America straight into American cities. Under his leadership, the gang has expanded its arms deals, trafficking networks, and even financial scams, all while he vanishes before every raid. Authorities stormed his supposed hideout in 2021. They found bulletproof doors, encrypted phones, and escape tunnels, but no Yulan. Just a list of names marked for death, and a phone still warm. He's believed to be protected by corrupt military units, moving between jungle safe zones and guarded estates. Witnesses say he rarely speaks above a whisper, yet his words spark executions across borders. He doesn't need to be seen. Just hearing his name in a prison yard makes hardened killers go quiet. And next, forget warlords, forget hackers, because the next fugitive stole $4 million, walked away in high heels, and vanished into thin air. Number 1. Ruha Ignatova. She sold the world a dream, then disappeared before they realized it was a con. Ruha Ignatova is the crypto queen and the world's most glamorous ghost. In 2014, she launched OneCoin, promising it would rival Bitcoin. Investors from 175 countries poured in over $4 billion, convinced by her Oxford education, luxury image, and magnetic charisma. But there was no blockchain, no coin, just vapor, and she vanished with the money. She boarded a plane to Athens in 2017 and was never seen again. Interpol believes she altered her appearance, got plastic surgery, and may now live under government protection in a Balkan state. Her brother was arrested, her parents flipped, but Ruha? Still gone. Investigators found a yacht registry in Dubai with her alias, a Romanian villa paid in gold, and a laptop loaded with hit list notes, names of journalists she feared. One FBI agent called her Madoff in heels, but no scammer ever ghosted the world this completely. And here's the wildest part. Some believe she's still running new crypto schemes under a different name. 12 fugitives, billions stolen, lives lost, and they're still out there. Subscribe now, because next time we expose the ones who got away and stayed free and stayed